Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. The current Resurgence meta in Warzone is very defined, but also super powerful. There are so many dominant options you could run on Rebirth right now, whether you're looking for super aggressive options, some sniper choices that are really solid, some good mid to long range options, so many different combinations that work well. And so to extend on the general top 10 that we covered the other day, today I wanted to break down the new best Resurgence meta loadouts. First up, real quick, perks and equipment is going to be the same on every single loadout here today. Basically, smokes, instant concealment for cover, for rotating, for rezzing, whatever you need there, they got you covered. Obviously, we want the throwing knives on there for those instant finishes so we can get those pings on the radar. For perks, I'm rocking Survivor, helping out with that better regen and then the faster downed revive time. Huge there. Tracker being able to ping enemies is so insanely strong, and then Gung Ho so I can reload while attack sprinting is also super important for my playstyle. Like I said, that's basically copy paste on all the setups here today. Now let's focus just on weapons, and first up here we got a great sniper combo. The Kar 98K is like the perfect Resurgence sniper. It's not going to have too long of a one-shot headshot range, but it's going to be sufficient for Resurgence gameplay, and the Cypher is a great sniper support choice. It's easy to use, it's low recoil, it's just really reliable. For the Kar 98K here, for the optic, go whatever you're comfortable with. I really like the Endless AS7. Maybe I'm kind of weird for this one because I know not everyone enjoys the optic here, but I think it's solid and I'm comfortable with it. So use whatever scope you're comfortable with yourself. I do go for the Spirit Fire suppressor. This functions the same as all the other suppressors here, helping out with range and velocity. The 7.62 long barrel also extends that out, and then high grain ammo does more of the same. So we end up with a 904 velocity. That'll work for Rebirth for sure. And then a 67 meter one-shot headshot range, which is pretty solid as well, like I said, for Resurgence gameplay. Lastly on here, no stock for the better ADS speed, mainly is what I'm getting at there. 322 is so much faster than every other sniper choice here, and it fits perfectly for how aggressive Rebirth gameplay is. For the Cypher here, we're going for an iron sight build. I think they're pretty clean for the most part. I am going for monolithic to extend out our range a little bit more, so we have that faster TTK out at a greater range. Long barrel as well. Like the velocity here, 1032 is going to be fine for the mid range where you're using this as sniper support. 60 meter effective damage range is a little overkill, but yeah, it's going to be solid for sure. Ranger foregrip on here, helping out that sprinting movement speed is pretty important, making this thing feel more like an SMG AR hybrid, plus some recoil control is always good there. Extended to a 60 rounder works fine. Then also balanced stock for some better movement, some better strafe speed, just makes it a little bit more aggressive as well. So for a sniper setup for Rebirth, this is such a good choice. Next up here, we've got another really good combination with the FFAR and the Saug. Both of these kill incredibly quickly, especially in their first damage ranges, and on Rebirth you're going to be fighting in your first damage range very frequently, so both these weapons really thrive in this sort of scenario here. 4 or 5 attachment FFAR build. First up, I am going for the Oturo red dot. This is a matter of preference. Once more, if there's a different scope you like more, feel free to go ahead and rock that. I go for reinforced barrel, extending out our damage range and our velocity. 1087 velo, 54 meter effective damage range. You're sitting fine there. The G grip on here is pretty solid, especially for a more aggressive build. The Ranger would also work fine here as well. Those are sort of interchangeable depending on the gun, quite frankly. Extended 2 is going to be a 60 rounder. That DPM works for all squad sizes here. And then again, I like balanced stock. Infiltrator's also a really good choice. You can sort of go back and forth with either of those depending on your feel. Or if you want to opt more for recoil, you could swap this out for recoil springs or a compensator as well. Either of those would work good here. And then for the Saug setup, we are going for long barrel, better damage range out to 15 meters with an SMG is pretty solid there. The G grip here for that ADS transition accuracy from hip fire is great, plus recoil control is never a bad thing to have. Extended to 55, it's not a 60, it's not a 70 like some other choices might have, but it'll work just fine. Commando rear grip for a better ADS and sprint to fire, so it's a tad bit more aggressive. And then recoil springs for free recoil control yet again is gonna help out nicely there, keep us on target, and this thing will melt, as will the FFAR. Very aggressive, but very fun combination. And by the way, as we are breaking down all the weapons and setups here today, if you guys are new to the channel, or maybe you have not subscribed yet, we should change that. Every single day, this is your one-stop shop for everything going on in COD, so feel free to hit that sub button. And if you enjoy the video, you find it helpful, a like rating is always seriously appreciated. Really does help share the video around to new viewers. Next up, bit of an interesting setup, one that I've been experimenting around with as of late, but it melts. The TR2, which is one of the best TTK guns in the game, and on Rebirth especially when you're not fighting at too extreme of distances, this thing can really thrive. And the PPSH, a spray and pray machine, got a solid buff with season 4, loving the feel of this. For the TR2, it's kind of a unique setup here. Go for whatever optic you like. I like the Willis 3 times, Jason Armory 2 times is another solid choice here. The compensator, this thing when you are spamming it does have some decent recoil, so staying on target gonna be huge here for sure. Reinforced barrel for the better range and velocity. 1275 velocity outright is crazy. Almost a 50-meter effective damage range is great too. Extended 2 on here, 40 rounder. It's gonna be reload at your own pace here. You're gonna be deciding how fast you burn through that with your trigger finger and your fire rate here. And then for the fire mod, you could either go rapid fire, which is going to increase the TTK even more in theory, or if you want more control, you could go for recoil springs. Personally, I think a lot of casual players and more average players trying to use this gun might find it a bit more difficult to use, so recoil springs could really help them out. But if you're a good player, rapid fire, increase the chance for an even faster TTK is so advantageous in this scenario. And then the PPSH for your close range, spraying and praying. Long barrel on here, 16.5 meter effective damage range is great. G grip, because we are doing a lot of hip fire to ADS transition. I think with the PPSH in specific, it just feels natural in this case. Extended 2 going to be a 55 rounder. We do have a 952 RPM, so you kind of burn through that, but it's the max option here, so of course you got to rock that. I like the agility stock for slightly better strafe and a better ADS, so it's still going to be pretty aggressive, all things considered. And then recoil springs here for sure for the better horizontal and vertical control. You could rock a compensator here. Not everyone's a fan of the iron, so an optic could be viable as well. Really just comes down to how you feel about this weapon. This setup in particular, feel free to tweak as necessary. This next combo is a pretty fun one. The GPR is a super reliable rifle, low recoil, very aggressive, so it fits well in Rebirth. And the MX9, a surprisingly fast TTK SMG, even though it's not a BO6 sub, it can compete with some of those other top Black Ops 6 options, which is really cool to see. For the GPR here, it's going to be a pretty standard setup. Willis 3 times or whatever optic you want. Monolithic and reinforced barrel paired together, so you're doubling up on range and velocity boosts, and that ends up with a 1209 velocity and a 43 meter effective damage range. Perfect for Rebirth there. Vertical foregrip for that max horizontal control, making this gun super predictable. Then extended 2 helping out there. 60 rounder, the damage per mag is going to be fantastic for all squad sizes. Then the MX9, bit of a unique setup because we're not typically talking about MW2 guns, but I don't like the irons, so I go for the Night Model 2023. I just found myself to be very accurate with this in specific. Sonic suppressor will work the same as every other suppressor, extending out our range and our velocity, so just pick your poison there. Bruin S901 barrel also helps out with range and a little bit of movement speed too. We end up with the 14 meter effective damage range, pretty minimal drop off beyond that. 638 velocity is kind of overkill for a sub as well, so that's nice to have. Only one extended mag option here. It's a 50, so of course we're rocking that. And then C11 riser, better ADS and sprint to fire, so it's a tad bit more aggressive. Not a gun that gets picked a lot, but if you know what you're doing with it, it can compete with just about everything. And then lastly, here we've got a pretty solid TTK setup. The AK has a crazy TTK at all ranges. If you're able to control it, you're gonna melt. Just spend some time learning that recoil pattern. Then the LC10, close range dominance in its pure definition, one of the best TTK options in the game as well. So for the AK setup here, we care about recoil control. We're going to try and help it out as best we can with 5 attachments. Oturo red dot, my optic of choice, of course. Compensator, straight up better vertical control. You could also switch this out for recoil springs if you want to get some horizontal and some vertical. Reinforced barrel, we end up with a 1068 velo, which will work for Rebirth just fine. And then a 51 meter effective damage range is great. Vertical foregrip, max horizontal control, of course. And then extended 2 here, a 50 rounder will work fine for pretty much every single scenario. If you want to jump up to extended 3 and get a 60, that'll work. You're just going to be a little bit slower. I think extended 2 works better for this style of play with the AK, really focusing on some mid-range, some early long range to keep it manageable. Then the LC10 here, pretty basic setup. Long barrel, extending out our damage range over 16 meters, which is great. G grip for that better ADS transition, and then recoil control. Extended 2, 55 rounder will work fine for this rate of fire. Quick draw rear grip for that faster ADS, nice and snappy there. Then infiltrator stock for the better strafe as well. So you are covered at basically every single range with both of these guns on here. And really in general, all of these loadouts today, you could mix and match with some of these if you wanted to, and you're going to be set. These are all fantastic choices to stack on top of our general top 10 from a few days back. It's going to wrap things up though. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications so every single day you can stay in the know for Call of Duty. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.